This will be a commentary of the 47 solo DOA that I did, in case people wanted to hear my thoughts and, a little more of the details to kind of go into a run. I haven't worked on a solo DOA guide, but seeing as that will take a long time, I figured a video like this would help. And so let's get right to it. So as you can see, I had the video literally on the first frame that I started on. I should have started a little earlier, so you can see me zone to the portal. This is basically as soon as you hit the portal. As you can see, if you advance frames, I have a movement macro that will start running towards this NPC. Because what you want to do is, if you're not careful, and you don't run away at the very first possible moment that you have, you will end up triggering Dervlord, which Dervlord will spawn right where my mouse is. And you do spawn in compass range or in range of him sometimes, but since the mobs kind of take a second to load in, if you move on the very first possible moment that you can, and if you just spam a movement macro whenever you zone in, you really reduce the chance of actually triggering Dervlord, which can tremendously help, because on some runs you can trigger Dervlord, and by the time you get to Veil and you're on good pace, Dervlord can be all the way up here and just completely ruin a run. So let's just get that out of the way. As you can see, we never saw Dervlord himself spawn. Also, you see I have dialogues for every quest there is in DOA just to save as much time as I can. And how close this run was, you could say the dialogues actually did save a 47-minute run. So I have a dialogue that goes near the NPC. I hit like space when I'm auto targeting him, talk to him, dialogue him, and then I just target something up here, just to auto run and kind of not to be as high APM at the start. So let's get the colors on the map out of the way. Souls are yellow on the map. Anything that's red is either a water or a heart tormentor. So anything that's white is a mind tormentor. Anything that's blue is a rut. Whether it's light blue or dark blue, it's a rut. So in this case, blue to square, light blue, that's sandy. And then the teardrop shaped ones that are blue are spirits. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to have these two souls right here settle on me, and I bring them to cave. Now as you can see, this water has a weapon, so that pretty much guarantees the fact that this water will not follow me in the cave. As you know, original tormentors, as in whatever spawns whenever you load in. So these tormentors are in this corner, this tormentor over here. All those have a chance of spawning with a weapon, and when that happens, they will not attack you from short bow range, spear range, whatever it is. They'll attack you from a much further distance, and they just cannot follow you because of their attack distance. So I try to get these souls. I cast Shadow Form Shroud, the other two enchants. I give it a bit of time for the souls to aggro on me and auto attack, and I just run. So looking in this cave, it's a pretty solid cave. The only downside are these mines that are on this side and also over here. So mines can do really fast, but the downside is mines will not follow you. Even though they're pretty much just like soul tormentors, they'll be in the correct range when you auto attack them, or when they auto attack you. You should be able to pull them, but they break really easily. So we pretty much want souls only, as they will not break once they're settled on you, and if you path correctly, it is very hard to break souls. And so if we have mines on this side, what's going to happen is I'm going to aggro them all when I'm going towards these two soul tormentors, and it's be kind of hard to separate the soul tormentors that are on me from this spawn and this spawn, from the mines that I'm grabbing here. Waters aren't an issue because they don't really dupe while you're doing cave, and even if they do, they're basically just like another soul tormentor. So waters don't really have a negative effect on cave, but mines definitely do. But with the new strat that I'm doing at cave, which is duping right around here before triggering, having souls that spawn right near here, even over here, because this will patrol this way towards where I'm running, it's actually really good. So let's just play it and see. I let the souls settle on me. I see they're all attacking, they settle. I run the speed boost. So hopefully the mines on me break, and then I'm going to try to dupe these 2 souls. So I'm trying to get that other soul. Well, first off, I was trying to look at this ball and try to hit all 3 souls at once, but since there's a mine on there, I don't want to damage them. Because if you have a mine under half, that could potentially dupe instead of a soul. That pretty much means you get less souls overall. Well, I should just say you can only have 1 tormentor duping at a time. So if I were to dupe all of these, I would have this mine duplicating at certain points instead of these souls. So I'd basically just be losing out on extra souls. So I try to go for them first. See they're not, see I can't hit everything but the mine. So I ball these two soul tormentors and then get them under half. This is done before I had the more advanced soul counter, which would show like all souls under 50 HP the last time they duped, their health regen, their ID, those sorts of things. So I get 2 under half and I start running the cave. And I'm trying to look and see how I can damage these souls easily. I see there's the mine in this one, so I can't attack this right here. So I need to go around and try to damage these souls in the back. But what ends up happening is the mines finally break to the speed boost, so then I just turn around and I just whirl what I can right here, which is another 2 souls. So in total, I have 4 souls under half, and now I go trigger cave. So what I need to also do is I need to have the mobs like as tight against this wall when I run around this corner as possible, because what I do is I pop a stone. And if they're off the wall at all, then they'll just run around the stone and run into aggro of these NPCs here. But I do it correctly, so everything's nice and clean, and I have all 4 of the tormentors that are under half on me right now. So now my goal is to get around 2 more duping. So there's the 5th one right there. And I'm damaging a 6th one right now. I see the only rups I have on me. It's literally just 1 spirit, so my risk of getting erupt here is really low. But that's also kind of a downside because you do want some reps on you, so they put you under half health. So it's just like a game of balance. And here, I think this is the 6th or 7th. I think it's the 7th soul. And then this would probably be the 7th or 8th. I don't know, because some of the souls at the start might have regen whenever I pop the stone. So basically, all I'm doing is I'm keeping the aggro that I want to keep on me for later on like this side of the map. And everything that's coming in, I need to kill. So I already killed the first wave of flushes. They come to you, that's pretty easy. Now I need to kill these mines. But what I'd like to do now is I'd like to try to get as many souls as I can, around 40-45% HP. And wait until the earths come. I try not to kill anything like the spirits or mines. That way I can get as much aggro as possible when I'm killing these earths. So they have less of a chance of living and using Armor of Sanctity and being under half health. As you can see here, like this earth right here is under half. And it has a chance of duping, which means less souls. So thankfully it it stripped its Armor of Sanctity, and then it started to dupe. So basically, I did lose out on a soul there for like 3 seconds, but that's fine. And then now, I'm just killing everything that comes for me. So I already killed the flushes, the mines, the spirits, and I killed some of the sandies, killed the waters, and now I have the souls, the flesh, the earth, and the heart to still kill. And now I have the 2 spirit, 1 sandy group, which is the last, wave of mobs that'll come in, or at least the start of the last wave. I need to kill these 2 souls because it was part of that 3 group of souls. I know this soul over here is also part of it. Basically, like I said earlier, I have everything that I want to keep on me on one side, and all the stuff I need to kill for later. And I see this earth is duping, but there's really not much I can do because it did have Armor of Sanctity up. But as it goes up to me, I think Armor of Sanctity ran out. So I'm just sitting here trying to kill everything as fast as possible. This is pretty nice. 4 group wasn't that bad, but I did have to kill it in 2 balls, actually 1 ball, which is nice. So before recalling out, I have 29 souls on me. So that's going to beef up to like maybe 30, 31 or so, as there's probably still a mob duping right now. So basically, you just, you kill all 4 group, I recall out, and I go and take the quest. Now, what I try to do at cave is not damage these souls to such a low amount to where when I re-aggro them, they are going to start duping again, because I want to have them re-aggro me and then settle on me as fast as possible. Any of these darker souls that you can see, I know they're kind of hard to see, they're under 90. So it's like a rough estimate of how, keeping track of what's under half. You still have to like click on them and look, but just by like gauging their health bar on top, you can basically tell they're above half health. Now this soul, that's probably too far to grab. The quality went down. So I basically just grab everything, and if I did it correctly, then all of these should not dupe. And as you can see, I messed up on this soul as it duped whenever I was running past with aggro, but it is just not worth the time to try to pick up his baby. Another thing is, the closer you are to their spawn point, the quicker they settle. So whenever I aggro all of these and pull this way, I also need to make sure any of these that are like in the back straggling, I kind of have to go back towards them and let them catch up to me. And then I see that one wasn't settled, but it was under half. It decided to dupe instead of attacking me, so I just ignored it and left. So I'm left with 29 souls, which is a pretty good amount, but a slowish cave. Cave was done at 4:10, but if you include the time lost from duping beforehand, the time gained by the soul count is definitely worth it. So Rift timing is dependent on when you take Rift and how long it takes for you to get there. So if you're slow to get to Rift, this patrol timing and this patrol timing and this patrol, they're all going to be in different places depending on how quick you get the Rift. Ideally, we have this group of Rups and, any physical tormentor, so Spirit, Sanity, Flesh, Earth, and One Heart is always in this group. So we always want to aggro this as it's coming this way towards the middle. And also what will happen is this group will come towards us. So our goal is to kind of run here, aggro this group, and then pull it all kind of off of Rift, because there's a chance that the mob inside of Rift also has a weapon. So I need to make sure I pull everything off of Rift as quick as I can. So I grab aggro of everything, I ping a target. Thankfully, the thing on Rift wasn't a longbow, so I didn't have to pull that far. And now I'm killing the claw. So, when you kill the claw, there's actually a point where if you get too close to the claw, you will trigger fleshes. And that's bad, because once you trigger fleshes, it starts to count down for when Earth responding. So ideally, you kill the Torment Claw without triggering fleshes, and then you walk on a Rift. So here, I kill the claw, and then I walk on a Rift and trigger flashes at the same time, as those are 2 different ranges. So you can technically trigger flashes without ever actually walking on a Rift. And here I'm being very risky with my skills, but also not risky. You can see I casted, or I'm going to cast Shadow Form like right next to Rubs, but I'm super low on health, so I'm basically we're gonna block almost all the time. And you can even see this Sandy threw a Rupt at me, but I blocked it. But also what's risky is I need to have enchants to cover my shroud or my shadow form. But thankfully my whirling timing was lined up to where I could cast Dwarven and Whirling, and if Dwarven got stripped, I'd be completely fine. So I would okay, let's flashback. So kill the claw, then you walk on a rift, and these flushes are going to come in. So you want to step off of a rift and try to aggro them early, and then you want to basically sidestep back on a rift with having all of the flushes on one side of you. And if you position yourself correctly, flushes like this one that is rain on a rift won't happen. As when they scatter, they'll scatter in a direction away from rift. But even when they come to attack you again, then they won't run to the side of you and be in range of rift. So another thing is, if you did not kill the claw without triggering flushes, what will happen is Earths will spawn quicker, and a good way to gauge whether or not you need to step off of rift to not trigger the flushes, or not to so a good way to measure if you need to step off of rift to not have all the Earths on a rift whenever you're capping, is if the Earths spawn when the marker is halfway past the cap meter, if that makes any sense. Like this arrow here, if Earths spawn and you have less than half to go, then you can stay on rift and don't have to worry about the Earths. And as you can see, the Earths spawned just now, and I know I'm safe to just stay on top of rift. So now I just run away. I swap to an envoy, cast SF, and then I just start auto walking to the start of Gloom. Also, if you cast the fresh shroud here, you will not need to cast a shroud the entire way near the Rupts. So this is basically just basic quest running. You keep the envoy staff out just in case you still have Rupts on you. And if you're popping full pecons and running, then running in a straight line, and the only time you stop is when you cast, is you basically never get rupted by spirits. So here you just speed boost through the start. The 2 spirits will follow you, but also you auto walk to this NPC, because these 3 NPCs here, actually not this one, that's the bounty guy, but these 2 NPCs here, they can get aggro of the mobs on you. And a simple way to not have that happen is just to auto walk to the quest NPC. Also, if you did trigger Derv, and Derv decided to run towards Gloom on spawn, and you see Derv whenever you're taking the quest up here, whenever you leave Gloom, and by the time you get to Vale, Derlord is like guaranteed to be up in this spot, which is the worst thing possible. So here, I just take the quest. You basically risk your shadow form every single time when you're casting these spirits on you. And then I basically just kind of go in a straight line. Actually, I don't go in a straight line, but I cut the corner, but I see all my souls are close enough to me, and I cast Dwarven, so these souls will also catch up to me. Because on the way back, whenever you cut this corner, if you path incorrectly, what will happen is souls will get so far away from you when you turn this corner and they're trying to follow you. They'll just break right here or right before, and souls will either glitch on this wall if you broke up here, or they will glitch right on this corner. If they glitch on that corner, that kills a run. Sometimes the NPC will get stuck in that corner from the mob you broke. So the goal here is just to speed boost and get out of here. Also, speed boosting through here clears the path for the NPC. As you can see, there the line for the NPC path. If you speed wall, and have a full speed boost when you run through these mobs, the path will always be clear. And also, this group here can spawn on the path as well. So if you ever see it on the line, you have to aggro it and sidestep a bit and run with it. But other than that, this is pretty straightforward. trying to cast as little as possible. Only, Shadow Form, Whirl, Dwarven. I don't know what I'm doing here with Toolbox, to be honest. Oh, I was trying to turn off the notification for log in, log out. But, I'm just running and casting Shadow Form this whole time. And by the time I get to Deathbringer, I kind of give up. So, Deathbringer, there's 4 NPCs here. They basically just need to die before you run in. Otherwise, your souls are going to cast on them and then break. So you just need to have them die as quickly as possible. Otherwise, this sanity will build up adrenaline, and it could potentially daze you because you are going to be above half health. So your block chance is much lower. It's only 75 instead of like 92%. So there's a pretty good guarantee the dude is going to adrenaline daze you. So this is always a risk, but it's a risk you have to take when you're going for a record. So basically, what I'm looking out for is when these NPCs die, and I try to get aggro a bit early, is I see there's a spirit on the back end of the ball. So the spirit will always run forward out of the ball and run towards you whenever you aggro it. So if you get aggro of the ball while it's already a ball, and then the NPCs die, then you have much less of a chance of the spirit running out. And that's exactly what happened here. Was NPCs died, I tried to speed boost, make a decent ball. None of them speed boost because that's where they spawn, and then use a whirl. A little rough. Ideally, I'd be taking Deathbringer by now, but since the cave strats are slower, I'm like 10-15 seconds behind. But the soul count increase and the amount of souls I have extra is much more better now. So I take Darkness. This is a decent spawn. You want to have him as close to the wall as possible, because again, what you will end up doing is you'll kill first wave on spawn, and then you drag it along the wall. So if it's closer to the wall, you're much more likely to have one dot on the second group whenever you pull them. Also here, I swapped to a low HP chest piece, so I have the chance of when they use Fingers of Chaos that they hit me, and it's for much more. So you see like 110s, 56s, things like that. So I want to get under half like as soon as I can, just for the extra DPS on the Earth Wave. So I swap back because I'm going to aggro like Sandies and Earths, and I don't want to take too much damage or I will die. And then I pretty much just try to one-dot the Darknesses. Doesn't go that well, but it's completely fine. So here, I put my staff out, trying to take more damage. I swap back to my shield because I am basically under half health. And then you just try to stand in whirl range of as many Earths as you can. 2 of them ran out, which is fine. This is kind of a mess. But it works out. I get a 929 Gloom, which, considering the cave strat, is really good with the soul count I have. Basically, how you measure whether a run's good or not is how many souls you have and what time you finished Gloom. So you can have a really good Foundry time or really good Gloom time, like sub 910, but if you have like 10 less souls and room 2 RNG is horrible, then you will end up just losing time versus a run like this where you have more souls but you're slower in Gloom. So basically this just kind of negates all of the RNG, or some of the RNG that there is with the Foundry spawns. And here, this is like the start of Gloom. You auto walk to the quest guy and you try not to cast with the souls on an incline, so you don't break them, but that is what I did. I should rewind to that. So normally what I would try to do is if you're in compass range of him and your SF has if your SF is not less than halfway recharged, you are good to run straight to the NPC once you're in compass range. But here, I was kind of close, but I knew I'd be close enough to where these souls would be on somewhat flat ground. so that when I did cast, I would not break many. And what ends up happening is when I come into this room, I break 1 soul, because he was further in the back. But that's pretty rare. But that's just a consequence of me being really rushing getting in the Foundry. So with this spawn, the Morganite spawn, you basically just want to wait for QZ if your whirl is on recharge, and once you're in QZ, you whirl, and then you wait for the tuck to go on the ball, and then you just run on the ball. So the tuck runs in, I run in, try to watch out for the ruck because the ruck will run out. But basically, it's just the textbook, first spawn in Foundry. And here, I position myself so I can hit all 4 Titans. And now I'm perfectly lined up to get into room 2. So the line you want to take to get into room 2 is kind of like this. You want to aim for like this rock you see here with your souls. Not hugging this wall when you enter, but like basically a straight shot into that rock. Because what you will end up doing is you're going to run into the room, and then once it's triggered, you're going to kind of strafe a little to the right. Because the gate's kind of angled in such a way that if you just ran straight in, you're going to lose souls. But if you ran straight in, and once the room's triggered, you turn, all the souls that are inside the gate, or even outside, have a chance to run through the gate while it's closing. So here, I just try to line my souls up. I kind of hug the left wall so he's triggered, and then kind of go straight and right. I broke 2 mobs or something, and that's really good. So whenever this first group spawns, what you want to do is speed boost the Morganites. More than likely, the Morganites will speed boost, speed ball onto at least one of the T-webs. But here, this is kind of an awkward spawn. I'm trying to speed boost them. I try to run in there. I get stuck. I can't walk around the corner. But the key runs in, so it kind of saves the spawn, but it kind of doesn't. I still end up having to do 2 whirls. And also, I swapped to a low, starter armor, low HP chest piece, just so I can stay under half health for much longer. And I also don't swap to a staff or a shield because that'll just decrease the damage that I take, and I do want to take damage there, so I have more world blocks because I'm under half health. But I basically kill that as best I can. That was like 2 balls. And now I, grab the Dreamy, ping it, and then grab all the Titans. And your goal here is to right wall block on this wall here. But also pulling the Dreamy in once you get there. So ideally, you walk in that spot and that Dreamy walks in, but since he's not cooperating, I kind of have to walk back a little bit. But thankfully, my souls are in a good position to where if I keep going back, they're not going to get obstructed by this wall because I didn't run too far into the room this way to aggro any Titans. And also, when I was aggroing everything, I am also paying attention to the T-webs and trying to make it where I can go to them and whirl them in one go and not have to whirl them in 2 separate balls. So kill all the first wave Titans, some of the second wave, the Dreamy comes in, that's the only real time loss, and then I kill T-webs and I go set up for room 4. So room 4, I do have macros for, but as you can see here, this circle is my macro for running in the first room. It is right before you trigger the room, and then this line is where the gate is on the inside of this room. So the trigger circle is kind of annoying. You basically trigger the room super early. Basically, once you walk past that gate, it can trigger. But the gate itself is angled in a horrible way that I need to run as far into this room as possible, and then also turn in such a way towards the right so that these souls here will run up auto attack me and then follow me to the right as I trigger the room. I think the video will explain itself, but basically you just, you press your first macro here, and once you get to this spot, you press your second macro, and if your souls are kind of lined up, basically just where they are now, you're pretty much guaranteed to get like 10 souls in a room for it, which is more than enough. Sometimes you'll end up with like 20, which is kind of bad when you're going for speed, but when you're just trying to complete a run, all you need is 1 soul, so the more the merrier. So here, movement macro 1 and 2 were used. I walk in, I get 12. I see these are way over there, and most of the time when you come into this room, these T-webs, unless they're in the way of where you're going, they're going to be bad aggro by the time you get them. So you can't just go out of your way and aggro them. You need to focus on getting to room 4 as fast as possible, getting into this position where I am, and start duping right away. Now, I do try to bow them. I did get bad aggro on them, so it was a waste of an auto attack. But I start duping in this corner. So you want to dupe in this corner and pretty much this side of the room. So from like this corner all the way, like a straight line against this wall. Just because of how snakes are done. So what's going to end up happening is I have 12 souls on me. I'm going to eventually have somewhere around 12 souls glitched on the wall. And I'm basically going to have 5 to 6 souls under half health the entire time from all the mobs that are glitched on the wall. But now I need to focus on getting these T-webs and killing them, or aggroing them and pulling them closer to me. So as you can see, Tormentor duped, it glitched because it can't see the path, and it glitches on the wall. And you can see this other Tormentor that cast it as well. So another thing I need to point out is, if I just stood in this corner and let them dupe, that would be much less efficient than trying to spread these souls out along the wall and keeping them all each under half health, as souls have a range where if they're in range of another soul, then they cannot dupe at the same time. So if you have your aggro spread out correctly, and there's no like corpse aggro or things like that that'll mess up the soul's range or aggro range of each other, then you can end up having multiple souls duping on the wall at the same time. It pretty rarely happens, but still the goal is to spread them out, keep them all under half health, and still somehow keep aggro them. So what you'll end up seeing is me basically just trying to bow these glitched ones on the wall that I initially duped as I'm killing this first wave. So there's 3, 4 now that are duped on the wall, and if I keep these on the wall under half health, basically nothing in the group here will be duping, because for some reason these souls have a higher priority than others, and so if I just keep the ones on the wall under half health, I'm guaranteed not to have any of these dupe. So I just make sure I damage them a little bit, make sure they're all under half, and then I just try to kill all the first wave. And as you can see, I set my souls up in a position to where once they did dupe, they would run towards Gloom, which is their spawn point. But I put them in a position where once they glitched, they wouldn't run on top of these other souls up here whenever they broke. So basically this whole room is just me running in this circle, having souls break off of me and dupe, glitch on the wall, and then I'm walking around whirling stuff from the room itself as I'm like going along, tagging these souls of the world and keeping them under half health. So this in itself is really, really crucial, because how efficient you are in this room can literally make or break a record pace run. This whole run can be like condensed into a few parts. One is basically just you want to get to room 4 as fast as possible. and then you can do snakes, safe, risky, whatever. But basically, the run split up and getting to room 4 as fast as possible, doing snakes as fast as possible, and then doing veil as fast as possible. But also, when you get to room 4, you need to dupe a certain amount. So, it's one thing to get here really quick, and it's another thing to be duping efficiently this whole entire time. And also killing the room while I'm doing this. And also, another thing is, I need to keep track and remember at what time I entered this room, and at what time I started duping them. So you can see I started this room at 12:37, and I had 12 souls on me. So for all 12 to break off of me, I need at least a minute. But that's assuming I just stood still and let all these dupe off me. But since I didn't do that, I kind of need to gauge how many souls are on the wall as I'm doing the room, and figure out whether I need to keep these damaged or let the souls on me that are still under half dupe instead. Because ideally, once you finish killing all the mobs in room 4 for the quest, you would run over to these souls and kill them, and you would not have a single soul break off you, anywhere over here when you're running to go clear the path for snakes. So there's really not much I can explain here. I basically just try to get all the melees to one side of me so that when I do go along the wall and tag all these souls, they're not going to scatter off me and then body block me and force me to kill the souls because I'm stuck. So I damage all of these, and then a decent majority of them are right wall blocked, and I'm just going to sit here and try to kill some, but I need to still also make sure I have aggro of these souls while they're under half. So it's basically just like I said earlier, I'm trying to keep all the souls on the wall under half, keep aggro of them, whirl the room at the same time, and then also make sure I have enough souls on me that I initially brought in, that I had all of them dupe at least once so they glitch on the wall. Because anything that you bring, if you, like I said earlier, if I had stuff on me under half and they broke here, that's a time loss because I would have to kill them here. But also, some of them just won't dupe, and maybe I just didn't damage one under half whenever I was hitting the whole wall. So I need to pay attention to that as well, because whenever I recall out for snakes, I need to recall out in a specific spot, so that if I still have mobs on me from Gloom, they're guaranteed to not block the way where the snakes are going to go. And that's pretty important, because you're also kind of guaranteed to get waters in this room, since waters will also settle on you in Gloom, and they're basically just like a soul tormentor, but it just doesn't dupe. So as you can see here, I have maybe 1 or 2 souls still in that group that needs to dupe, but you see this water, it's under half, and it hasn't duped this entire time, and nor will it, because for water to dupe, I would have to have a staff out, I'd have to clear the room so the gates open, and then I'd have to go over here with the staff, kill all this, and then the water would finally see the path to its spawn point, and just for some reason dupe right then and there. So, come on, video. So basically, second wave's dead. I see third wave, and I'm still just gonna do the same old, keep these souls under half. I see this at 36, so I try not to stay there too long. And then I'm just trying to get all these souls and keep them under half, but also taking my time to walk off the wall, as you can see here, just so there's a chance that the mobs here will dupe, because when I'm running this way, I don't have aggro of these mobs. So if I kind of walk around in this large circle, I guarantee that there's a chance for these souls to duplicate. Like I said earlier, I need to make sure all of them that I brought into room 4 duplicate, otherwise I'm going to leave a mess and be forced to kill them in places where you know, cause time loss. But here, I basically just, I can see all the souls on the wall. They're under half. Some of them are duping, and then just kill the spawns. I'm close enough, so I take the time to just kill it, and then I do one more check after I kill this Dream Rider, I think. Yeah, I go along the wall, damage them, kind of just barely scrape by, you know, do a drive-by, hit them under half. Because my goal here is to leave with 40 souls, 40 plus souls. So I have 46-ish in range, there's 48 in spirit range. There's 48 mobs on me right now. One of those is the water, but also 12 of those are from the start of the room. So I have 46 souls, minus 12 would be 34 souls. So I still have a little more souls that I need to dupe. There's 36 on me, 35. So probably one didn't dupe yet, I can't remember, or one just unglitched and started re-aggroing me. So I go over here, you know, I kill these. And also the way I did third room, if you kill all of the second wave of Titans over here, and then you go kill the T-Webs, you end up with only Dementias and Furies here, instead of having Rages and Despairs here. You end up being able to clear the souls and basically spend maybe 2 or 3 seconds extra killing the Titans that are left over. So if you don't kill the second wave of Titans in room 3, then you end up spending more time clearing them here, because you'd have to kill Rages, Despairs, and then whatever spawns from those. Also, you know, here, just damage them again. I see there's some that re-aggro me. I try not to put those under half. And then also, anything that's in this circle, it's going to be in aggro range of the snakes whenever they run through Foundry. So pretty much anything in that circle, I try to kill. And also, while I'm killing this, I'm bowing the stuff that's on the wall and keeping it under half. So as you can see, some of the souls that glitched earlier unglitched, and now I have souls on me that I know are going to break and run in a different direction in 5th room. So 5th room is kind of complicated. Basically, ideally you'd get this group, you get this group, you know, there's a bunch of other groups you grab, you pull it, kill it on the wall here. But here, since I know I have a water on me, I know I have souls that I damage that are on me, souls that are above half health. So if this Morganite group is triggered, which is almost a guarantee when you're doing the first room, it'll be somewhere over here. If they weren't triggered, they'd be like up here, which is way nicer. But since I did trigger them doing room 1, I try to aggro them. And of course, always aggro these Titans because I need to clear them. And what's going to happen is this Morganite key that's healing all the mobs on me, if I do this correctly, I will end up aggroing all the mobs and triggering the patrols that I need to do over here. And I would keep this soul on me, even though I'm running with a speed boost and cause them to break. The key is still trying to heal mobs on me. So by the time I have all the mobs on me and I start whirling and standing still, I will have the rest of this group come towards me. So here I just grab these 2 groups. I try to grab this right away. You bow them, and then I run this way. So what I need to do is I need to trigger these T-Webs, because there's not a good way of pulling them whenever I'm taking Captain, as you'll see later. And also, if you trigger them, eventually they will run just out into the middle of 5th room. So that can make me, that basically just guarantees me a group I don't have to kill. So whenever you're aggroing all this stuff, you need to make sure you trigger this group. So I bow these T-Webs and Dream Riders. I go back, I try to bow these Titans, because if I go too far up this way, I will trigger patrols by a general, which would eventually walk onto him. So I try to avoid going towards this group to aggro these Margos. So I kind of just, you know, zigzag and go one way, grab one group, go one way, grab the other, and just, you know, go back and forth and just try to grab as much as I can. And here I'm also stacking enchants, as I'm going to have a lot of melees on me and a lot of things on me that will damage me a shit ton if I'm not careful. So I aggro all the mobs that I need, and then I try to go and make a ball out of it on the bucket. Because I need a right wall block, kill these dreamies. I need to have all the melees dead. So basically, just right wall blocking is the way to go. It's a little messy, but this is usually how the room goes. You basically just have to take what you get. You can leave some of the dreamies alive, because dreamies won't do much to snakes. All they'll do is erupt them. But if you just keep running, then the snake never has a chance to cast. So dreamies, you can leave one or two alive, but basically, I just made a ball out of all the things I need to kill. And now the next thing I'm looking at is whether Titans are dead, which they are. You can see, you know, this Rage and Despair were the last things that were alive, and they both eventually run onto me, and then. You know, these Fury Titans walk on me whenever I'm whirling the rest of my ball. But the next thing I'm looking at is the patrol timing of this. So this Margonite group spawns over here whenever you go and talk to the snake at the start of 5th room. You can't avoid aggroing or triggering it when you enter the room. It's a guarantee. So eventually it does some weird triangle shape. It ends up over here, and its next patrol point is going to be right here. Now, ideally, you'd be fast enough here to aggro these before they get to this point, so that you can instead just pull them away when you take Captain instead of having to sit there and kill them. Now, I don't remember what happens on this run, but we'll just see how it goes. Now, I take kind of a wide angle there as souls can break on that corner, but this group, I can pull this group, which is what I do. So now I, you know, recall Captain. I need to aggro these rages, and then now I'm just going to sidestep and pull my souls basically past that line, the really long line that just goes in the middle of 5th room. You get to sidestep because there's Margos on you. Also, leaving the Margos alive is a benefit, as you will have QZ on the way to Black Beast. So I pull my souls past the line. But not past this line, as that's where you'll be able to re-aggro the souls whenever you re-aggro them later, and they settle on you basically once they're past that line. You'll see later, but basically I need to pull these mobs far enough away to where once I recall out, they aren't going to just go straight back towards me. I need to make sure they break when I recall out. But I also need to make sure I pull these souls far enough, because the ones that were in 4th room that unglitched, I need to put them in a position to where they glitch on this rock, they glitch like on this thing, this bucket, or any of these pillars right here, or even the bucket that's further up here. I need to like pretty much guarantee none of them are going to be in the path of where snakes are going to be. So as you can see, I recall out, I broke the Margos, and then I just insta-took. I also swapped to a low armor set, so these things would target me instead of the snake. That doesn't go so well. He gets knocked. That's kind of rough. So I kind of strafe to the left, and I kind of make sure there's like obstacles the T-Webs have to walk around, so that whenever they auto attack, they're put even further behind, and they have less of a chance of casting on the snake. So here I recall Captain, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a ghost, or actually I don't even pop a ghost, that's the new strat. I just run up to General, right, you know, dialogue him and recall out. And now the new strat that I did just try on this run was to pop a Gaki instead of a Tengu. So the Gaki has a benefit where he has disease removal, right? So if these snakes did get diseased and hex degened, depending on how much health they had, it would pretty much just be a risk to pop a Tengu. It's just RNG with the Tengu. You have like a 1 in 3 chance of getting a healer. But if it's a disease and the Hex Degen, it's just way more time loss, and you have to wait for them to heal. But with the Gaki, it's a guaranteed heal, and it also removes the poisoned or disease, whatever the hell it is. But I see the snakes have enough health, so I pop a ghost, recall it, go take Solesh, recall out, and that makes it to where the snakes can instantly run instead of me just running up to it and running out. That is basically gives me like 100% guarantee that these snakes will run as soon as they are taken, and there's no delay, and it gives less chance of them to get stuck or to cast on any of these dimensions. But I got a good spawn, a little blurry, sorry, and the Gaki's over here and the Spirit's over there, so if I had to run this way instead, would have been more chances from the break. And so now I just recall the snake or the NPC, I cast Shadow Form when I'm like right next to him, and then I just run past these souls. And as you can see, all the ones that were glitched are killed that were in aggro range. And if there's a soul in the way, that's fine. If you run straight through them with a speed boost, they don't have time to settle as they're casting on the snakes. And I basically just make my way into this corner, and I had timed my SF earlier to where once I got to this corner, I could SF and recall out. And I was also doing this on the staff the whole time, so I could get a half-star recharge on Shadow Form, which is what I did. Because now the goal is to time my Shadow Form perfectly on the way to Black Beast. Another note, the place where I did break the souls was also optimal, because whenever they start running the 4th room, when I break them and take this snake, they're put in a position where by the time I come back to aggro them, they're all in range of their spawn point, so I spend even less time sitting there waiting for them to settle. And I'm also, a benefit earlier of not killing that Margot group is the QZ. So I just let the majority of them settle on me, and I run the Black Beast. Now my goal is to look for QZs, or just straight up time my SF, just by looking at my recharge. But thankfully I had QZs, so I could run a Black Beast pretty much whenever, and it would be recharged in time. Because what you want to do is, if you don't have QZ, you want to run in a Black Beast when you have halfway Shadow Form recharge. So that usually on average, by the time Black Beast comes in, you cast SF right before he attacks you. So basically right before he can touch you or use Fingers of Chaos, that sort of thing. So I get in this spot, I can time my Shadow Form however because of the QZ, and I just time it to right before he runs up to me. But thankfully he glitches, so I don't actually have to deal with him. And then I just run out and head back to snakes. That's just pretty straightforward quest running. I try to avoid titans that would patrol around here like these, but sometimes it's just kind of inevitable. But I'm basically just trying to cast as little as possible, but also I can't cast that little because I have titans on me, so if I don't cast enough, then I'm just going to get shit on by them. And now my goal is just to go to the snakes and time my Shadow Form to where I can recall the snakes, recall out instantly, and I don't have to run the risk of dropping SF at any point, which is what I do here. I got stuck for a second, or the dialogue didn't work or something, and then I run out of the snake to guarantee these souls did break. And now I'm just gonna sidestep. I put my mini pit out earlier. Sidestep, re-aggro all of them, have them settle on me, have recall on the mini pit for damage reduction for the rest of the run, and then once I see all the souls on me are settled, I pretty much just run. But I can see there's a straggler in the back, and I kind of struggle to make the decision whether to sit here and wait, but I decided I had 41 and it was just not worth the time to pick up that 1 soul. So now I'm on the way to Fury. I know there's Titans that are left behind, so I still need to cast somewhat, and I did cast Enchants in that room. So the Titans that would aggro here, I still have some damage reduction just from earlier casts of my other skills. But I'm basically looking for Fury. I see the white dot, I aggro him. You speed boost, and then you run for the wall to where you can right wall block the Guardians of Kamali. You want to speed boost, so you ball the keys in the Fury, as you can see in the back, and then you right wall block so you can kill all these Guardians. You kill all 3, you kill the key or whatever is on you, and also you can see I'm taking a shit ton of damage here. And it's almost all from Fury using Fingers of Chaos. Because Fingers of Chaos, if you're a Ranger, you can't block their auto attacks. And they do a lot of damage with their auto attacks, so basically any chance I can, I need to cast Enchants and like reduce the damage I'm taking from them. And I basically just made like 3 balls, right wall blocking the Dreamies, killing the keys and the Fury, and then killing the Guardians of Kamali that are T-Webs, and then went on my way. So I also need to time my Shadow Form for here. If I were to cast Shadow Form running through here at any point with my souls, like on this hill, on this gate, or anything, I run the risk of them breaking. So I need to have like a fresh Shadow Form or a halfway recharged Shadow Form to guarantee I can run far enough into this corner, get my cast off, and have no souls break. And Rid in the chat says my mom is really nice, appreciate that. But as you can see, I just run in a straight line, hit the wall, and then I take another straight line towards city. Now what I've started doing is once I pass that gate, I just auto target the NPC and auto path, and then once I hit this corner, I kind of just run straight. Because that's for reasons I'll get into later. But basically, I want to trigger only this group and not groups that are over here. So I need to run straight and sit over here. I need to wait for this group to collapse, get bad aggro, and run away by the time I run in the city. But this thing has already been going on for an hour long, so I'm going to stop this here and record the rest of the run later.